How long is this?
526 meters we will pass through this tunnel, and then we will enter the salt mine.
So 1,500 feet, this is the...
Yes, it
and
is.
how far below the ground are we?
About, right now we are about 5 meters, and then we will be 10, 15, and
So
most
we're going
about 50 meters.
50 meters down.
This mine is among the largest in Europe, covering almost 54,000 square feet. That's more than an acre. And it's among the oldest and most important in Transylvania.
The color is surprising of this. I mean, it's quite...
Yes, actually the walls are black. Natural color of salt is white, and massive salt is translucent. But in the Second World War, the salt mine was used as a shelter.
Huh.
And that is why the walls are black. They made fire here to get warm and to prepare food.
During World War II, Romania lost much of its land, and Vlad's former empire was essentially cut up into pieces. Romania sustained heavy bombing throughout the war. Thousands sought refuge in the empty salt mines like this one throughout the country. This empty cavity in particular was the perfect bunker. It was 150 feet below the surface and could sustain massive bombings. And its arch-supported ceilings ensured the shock waves from bombs couldn't destroy it. When the war was over and people moved back to the surface, Romania was under communist rule. The Iron Curtain wouldn't be lifted until 1989. But the history of this salt mine goes back much further than World War II. In fact, this natural salt deposit is 13.5 million years old.
So you're saying this solid wall is all salt?
Yes, it is all salt. It's tasted. You can
Okay,
taste it.
I'll take that
It
little
is-
piece there. That's salt. Yes, it is.
How much salt is down here still?
There's about 38 billion tons of salt.
38 billion tons of salt.
Yes.
Still remaining in these mines.
Yes, exactly.
I can't even conceive of how much that really is.
On this site in the 2nd century, the Romans began mining this precious commodity, a process that would continue to be done here by hand until the 20th century. Today, the mine is made up of several large rooms, some over 100 feet deep.
All the salt mine was done by hand, so only hand tools, nothing, no explosives or other machines or mechanical machines.
So are we seeing pickaxes? Is
Yes, exactly.
Huh.
Everything
And
was
how many
done by-
people were working down here?
The most were about 300.
Long before the salt mines provided safety to Romanians, they were seen as a source of income for the different generations and civilizations that lived here. Salt was as good as gold and was used as currency in the ancient world. Roman soldiers were paid with salt, or salarium argentum, the root of the English word salary. The Greeks even traded salt for slaves, creating the expression, "not worth his salt."
Down this way, huh?
So the person with the salt was the one with the power. That meant I was walking in an ancient gold mine.
Look how huge this
Big,
place
isn't it?
is. Unbelievable. How high is that?
That is 40 meters.
40 meters, 120 feet. And if I was up there, what year would that have been?
1868,
1868, and we're
Yes.
standing where?
1932.
So they did all that in about
Yes, they did.
50 years. Amazing.
When Vlad came to power, the abundant salt deposits of Transylvania were still being mined. Vlad Dracula also used the seemingly innocent commodity for more sinister actions. It is said that he would skin the feet of his prisoners, coat the wounds in salt, and let goats lick it off. Just another way to keep order in his volatile land. From the Romans paying their soldiers, to Vlad's use of salt for punishment, to saving lives in World War II, these salt mines have always been an important lifeblood in Romania. Vlad Dracula ruled the province of Wallachia 3 separate times for a total of nearly 7 years. But it's what he left below the ground that's most impressive. Over the years, Vlad had gained himself many enemies, but some of his greatest enemies were members of his own family. At the time, there was no clear plan for succession of the throne, which meant that all princes within the dynasty had the right to rule. So brother fought brother for power. During the height of his second reign, Vlad built a new palace on the outskirts of the province. It was a fortress that would solidify his power. In 1459, Vlad turned a small fort in the remote town of Bucharest into a princely palace now called Curtea. He built a massive citadel and surrounded it with his loyal subjects and wealthy merchants. And Bucharest soon grew into a political and economic power. Unfortunately, like a lot of medieval buildings, the palace was ravaged by constant warfare and fires. And today, much of Curtea is in ruins. But deep beneath the ground, a small piece of Vlad's grand palace still remains. Gabriel Constantine was my key to getting into one of Vlad's most famous fortresses, and Monica Findlay would translate.
And Vlad to welcome us, huh?
Vlad, yes, he's our friend.
He looks very stately today.
Okay, let's go inside.
Today, the entrance is easy to miss. But just 10 feet beneath our feet lies the very foundation that established a new capital.
Oh, it's amazing. It's huge, huh?
This subterranean space is all that remains of the fortress responsible for the development of modern-day Bucharest. Long before the bustling metropolis existed here, this area was a sleepy village of farmers and small merchants peddling their handicrafts. When Vlad arrived, he took an ordinary observation tower and transformed it into a 10,000 square foot fortress complete with a royal residence and marketplace. But this was more than just a place for local farmers to sell their crops. It was where Vlad Dracula established his slave trade. Vlad allowed non-Christians, criminals, and captured Turks to be sold as slaves. And soon this area began to thrive. But little did they know that this boom in economic and cultural development would eventually light the spark for the founding of modern-day Romania's capital city. Traces of Vlad Dracula's original design still remain, if you know where to look.
So I can see the wall,
Yes,
the original wall
as well.
there.
Yes, it's
right?
from that time.
But this is different here.
Yes.
All right, so we have the different eras of construction. This being Vlad Tepes's fortress with the river stone and the mortar. And this is a newer construction, and that's much newer over there.
For almost 2 centuries, Vlad's successors built their own extravagant castles right on top of the existing structure, essentially burying all that remained of Vlad Dracula's original design. Today, these passageways snake beneath the streets. But in Dracula's days, this would have been the ground floor of his palace and marketplace. To later rulers, it would have been the basement. They expanded Vlad's palace, creating a structure even larger than his 10,000 square foot complex. It contained a private garden in the middle, and administration buildings and living quarters would have been directly above the rooms I was in. In the late 18th century, a new castle was built not far away, and eventually this castle fell into disrepair and homes were built around it. Until finally, during the communist era, buildings covered the entire area, effectively paving over Romania's dark past. Most have no idea that this piece of Dracula's life still exists. But if he had never built this retreat, Romania's capital city of Bucharest might never have been. Vlad Dracula built Curtea at the height of his power. But just a few short years later, his final reign would come to an end. But not even his death could bring an end to his legacy.
Ask any Romanian where Vlad the Impaler is buried, and they'll tell you about a darkened church on a remote island, accessible only by boat. But like his life, Vlad's death is shrouded in mystery. Some say his skeletal remains were stolen. Others say he's buried near his treasure of gold, or in a tunnel that runs beneath the lake. Whatever the case, Vlad seems to have eluded his fate once again by going underground.
In ancient myths, souls often have to cross a body of water to reach the afterlife, the underworld. So somehow it seems fitting that we have to cross a lake to reach what legend says is the Romanian burial site of Vlad Dracula. Approaching it, you wouldn't think that this deserted-looking island could be just 25 miles north of Bucharest. Snagolf Island is so secluded, it's easy to imagine Vlad Dracula wanting to spend eternity here. But much of his medieval island retreat has crumbled with time. Donna Matache is a guide trying to get to the bottom of Vlad's legend. She agreed to take me to see the real-life Dracula.
That is really something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was built by Dracula by his order.
This
Yes,
well here?
this one here. Yes. So it is from 15th century, middle of the 15th century.
Yeah, there's water down here.
There is, and it's very good. First of all, Dracula built a prison, and with the prisoners, he built this fountain.
I see.
Really, they dug with their hands.
During the construction of this well, Dracula is rumored to have placed a bag of gold next to it as a symbol of his power. He claimed that as long as he lived, no one would touch the gold, and he was right. Legend says the gold remained there until the day he died.
But the gold isn't here anymore.
He
Somebody
died,
took it.
unfortunately. He's no more living, that's true. Yeah.
But there's one structure on the island that has lasted through the years. An 11th century church, Vlad's chosen burial site.
You can feel his presence.
Oh, here we go. There he is.
Look at him. Look at him,
Hello,
please.
hello.
Yes. He is here.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yes.
This is his tomb.
This is his tomb. Yes,
And
this is his tomb.
his remains are under here now?
We think so.
This is the mystery.
Some of the people says that he couldn't have been buried in a church after many things he did.
Just about every aspect of Vlad Dracula's death and burial remains a mystery. Most sources say that he was finally killed in battle and beheaded by the Turks in 1476. The Turkish version ends with Vlad's head displayed on a stake in Istanbul, as visible proof of Vlad the Impaler's demise. But those who revere his legacy say that his friends buried his head on Athos Mountain in modern-day Greece. So why not put these rumors to rest? In 1935, a group of archaeologists tried to do just that. But what they found buried beneath the site where I was standing brought more questions than answers.
They discovered some rich growth, very fitted for a prince. They discovered a special ring with the coat of arms of Dracula.
But Vlad's bones were never found. Much like the many myths inspired by Bram Stoker's vampire Count Dracula, many mysteries surround the fate of the real-life Vlad the Impaler. Today, Dracula's regions of Wallachia and Transylvania are part of modern-day Romania, and Vlad Dracula has left a lasting impression there. But his legacy goes well beyond the fortresses, churches, and even the capital city he helped to create. Vlad ruled for a short span of nearly 7 years. It's hard to fathom, but during that time, it's said he killed between 40 and 100,000 people. Mystery will always surround the real-life prince called Dracula. And who knows what other secrets he's left for us in the underground.